Hey everybody, in this video we're going to talk about overactive bladders, and I'm Dr. Diane Mueller, your libido doc. We're going to talk about why overactive bladders happen and what you can do about them. So overactive bladders tend to happen due to a few various mechanisms. One would be acute trauma to the bladder. Secondly would be due to things like pregnancy that are changing the stretch receptors, that are changing the neurology, that pushing pressure on the bladder, and also changing the muscles of the pelvic floor, which help to hold the bladder in place and also help with things like urgency and frequency and those sorts of things. So there's this structural issue to it. So we have trauma, we have something that's changing the structure of it, and then we have other things that are irritants to the bladder. So these can be things like infections and toxins. So if there's trauma to the bladder due to something, say car accident or something that perforated maybe in a surgery, that is obviously something that you would need to see a trauma specialist for and get anything healed from that surgical standpoint there. So that one's a little bit out of the scope of what this video is about, but for most people, they don't fall into that trauma world. Most people have a combination of something structurally that's changed, such as pregnancy, loosening those muscles there, and something that is more chemical inducing, something that's more inflammatory inducing, such as infections and toxins. So that's what we're going to focus on here. So if it is structural, I definitely would encourage you to either work with a pelvic floor therapist or to start doing proper Kegels or jade egg exercises. Now, when I say proper Kegels, one of the things that we really see is that a lot of people, when they're doing work of contracting the pelvic floor muscles, and for those of you that don't know Kegels have become pretty popularized, so most people know what they are, but just to make sure we're all on the same page, Kegels are typically taught as exercises that you do by squeezing your pelvic floor muscles, almost like you're going to stop peeing, like you're going to stop a flow of pee. And that's useful, sort of. But the problem with just doing Kegels that way is that really doesn't work all the muscles of the pelvic floor. There's more muscles than just your urination muscles. There's all the muscles that, say, are involved in defecation. And all these muscles are actually holding up the bladder and helping with the bladder proper tone and function, as well as your other pelvic floor organs. So it's really important when we're doing any sort of exercises like Kegels that we are actually doing contraction of our entire pelvic floor muscles, which is going to be involved contracting the muscles that are involved in urination, as well as the muscles that you contract almost like you're holding a fart back, right? So you almost like want to contract and pretend like you're holding a fart back. And you want to do this you want to do this and you want to accompany it with relaxing these muscles. So, imagine going to the gym and working at your bicep. If you were working at the bicep, you would contract, you would relax. You would contract, you would relax, right? Sometimes you might hold for a period of a few seconds, but you're always going to go back to relaxation. In order for muscles to work properly anywhere in our body, we always want contracting and relaxing. That is the proper movement of muscle, and the pelvic area and your bladder works just the same. So you want to contract by squeezing, holding like you're stopping urination or defecation, and then relax. You can also do these sorts of things with jade eggs. Jade eggs are essentially eggs that are made out of jade. The proper ones have a hole in them that you can put a piece of dental floss through, and you will insert these eggs intravaginally. The point of the dental floss is to hang a string, much like a tampon, so that you make sure that you can easily pull the jade egg out, right? So do this cautiously. Remember, you want to make sure that you're not going to get that egg stuck up there. And sometimes if that string were to come out, you can actually just insert your fingers just like you would a tampon that was stuck and pull the egg out. But for some women, this becomes a scary thing to do, and make sure that string is on really tight if you decide to use that jade egg. And from there, the other thing you really want to consider is like the jade egg exercises that are classically taught online oftentimes are like wearing the jade egg all day, right? You don't want to do that most commonly for most people because you don't want your muscles to be in contraction all day. You want contraction, you want relaxation. So if you use a jade egg, the way to use it is to help your muscles squeeze around something, which is a little bit more similar to going to the gym and having something to actually hold for your bicep curls versus doing bicep curls without a weight. So you want something to actually squeeze for this. That's just where the jade egg comes in. But you still want to do this, the contractions very similarly, where it's contract and relax. And the cool thing about relaxing is you can relax and almost like push the jade egg out, which is actually going to help you with other muscle tone as well. So that's really what you want to think about as structure for overactive bladder, either working with a pelvic floor therapist that can help you with exercises. Sometimes pelvic floor therapists will do intravaginal massage where they're actually like literally massaging the muscles of the pelvic floor to help them work properly, which really is just like massaging other areas of the body, right? It's obviously up close and personal, but it's really the similar, technique from the standpoint of you want those muscles to work properly, and by massaging, by breaking up any adhesions, any tangles in those muscle fibers, that can really help. So other things you should think about with an overactive bladder. I see a lot of fungal overgrowth, candida, in issues with overactive bladder. So a lot of people think about candida of the gut, but you can also have candida impacting your bladder. And so you want to think about antifungal protocols. Some common things that are used pharmaceutically are things like itraconazole, diflucan, these sorts of pharmaceuticals, but oil of oregano for many people works really well. Thyme oil works really well. NAC is a biofilm disruptor. So there's a lot of different things you can do naturally for antifungals. There's a huge link between the gut and the bladder. So oftentimes if you have infections in the gut or a leaky gut, those same types of things are having problems in the bladder. So you want to work with somebody that can do proper stool cultures and proper SIBO tests, proper leaky gut tests to look for health of the gut. If you're interested in any help for your own self, please do look at how to work with us at my Libido doc in the show notes below. And I hope this has been helpful. If there's anything not clear, please post comments. We try as a team to answer these as much as possible and really appreciate you letting us know how we can continue to help and support you. Please do subscribe if this has been helpful. Please don't keep me a secret. Share me with your friends and family. I'll see you in the next one.